Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Friday, the 22nd of March, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1. Today, a drop in mining and energy stocks, the two sectors that have had a pretty good week, pushed the S&P ASX200 down 0.2% to close at 7,771 points. It means the benchmark finishes the week 1.3% higher than where it started. It was all about the resources sector today. A lower oil price pushed down the value of Woodside, while lower gold prices pushed the gold stocks down. Among the large caps, the banks were lower, led by Westpac, which fell 1%. Fortescue Metals Group was off 2%. Aristocrat Leisure was down about 2.5%. Goodman Group was one of the better performers of the top 200, up 3%, while CSL finished 1.3% higher. Story number 2, the Reserve Bank says more borrowers than expected won't have enough income to cover expenses and will run out of savings by the end of next year if interest rates stay high. In its semi-annual financial stability review, which looks at the resilience of and risks to the stability of the economy, the bank says global risks remain elevated, but the local system is looking pretty good. On households, the bank says while high inflation and interest rates have put pressure on households, most borrowers can still service their debts even if things aren't as good as they were 6 months ago. Less than 1% of all housing loans are more than 90 days in arrears. That's not bad. The Reserve Bank also says businesses are in a strong financial position and can keep up with loan repayments, and even in commercial real estate, where valuations have tumbled, there's little evidence of stress. Story number 3, the average cost of dwellings, both houses and units across the country, have risen nearly 9% over the past year, or about $63,000. That's pushed the CoreLogic Home Value Index to a record high, and the national median dwelling value to $766,000. Nearly 9 in 10 suburbs and regions across the country have experienced price increases over the past year, highlighting the supply-demand imbalance in the market. That in turn reflects the surge in immigration and has overwhelmed the impact of rate hikes and worsening housing affordability. In the housing market alone, almost every suburb in Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth and Sydney has experienced higher prices over the past 12 months. In Melbourne, it was 90% of suburbs, Canberra 78%, and Hobart and Darwin no more than 50%. Regional Victoria has also not seen anywhere near as much price growth, nor has regional Tasmania or regional Northern Territory. And regional Queensland, South Australia and Western Australia have been the outperformers amongst the non-capital city markets. Story number 4, more than 100 electric vehicles have been urgently recalled in Australia due to a serious battery fault that could lead to a vehicle fire. The Federal Transport Department issued the urgent recall of 123 Audi e-tron vehicles today, in the second major recall for Audi electric cars this year, according to AAP. The government also warned that software to address the fault was still being developed, and vehicle owners may have to wait months for a fix. The latest Audi recall was issued for vehicles manufactured between 2018 and 2022 on concerns its batteries could catch fire. A manufacturing defect means the high voltage battery may experience a thermal overload if charged over 80% capacity. And story number 5, it was an interesting night on Wall Street for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Reddit hit the bourse and its share price jumped 48%. The company, as part of its initial public offering, gave heavy users 10% of the shares on issue, so a few social media addicts did pretty well out of it. But Apple's share price fell by more than 4% after the US Department of Justice sued the company for allegedly using its power in the smartphone sector to quash competition from rivals and limit consumer choice. That wasn't enough, though, to stop the S&P 500 and NASDAQ index from hitting all-time highs. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 22nd of March, 2024. Michael Thompson, Adam Lang and I will be back tomorrow morning with a weekend edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.